Welcome back to another episode of CFO Chronicles, the podcast that reveals the secrets behind success in the world of fractional CFOs and accounting firm owners. Our guest today is Brandon Adjei, a CPA with a passion for solving IRS and business related problems for owners and individuals. He believes that failure is just a stepping stone to growth and has helped countless individuals achieve their goals. Get ready to be inspired and challenged as Brandon shares his insights on entrepreneurship, IRS resolution, and the power of learning from mistakes. Brandon, it is an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. I've been looking forward to this one for a while. We had the chance to connect here a few months ago in Utah. We hit it off there. We've rescheduled this one a few times, so it's long overdue. How are you doing, man?
Man, good, good. It's Friday Eve and here in Houston, Texas, and definitely looking forward to getting this going.
Awesome. Well, look, let's dive right into things here. Can you tell us about, a bit about your background and how you
Um,
became a CPA specializing in solving IRS and business related problems? I'm guessing dealing with the IRS is not something you maybe thought you'd be doing growing up as a young boy.
you know what? Great question. Yeah. So background was more finance. I was an intern at Merrill Lynch. I was doing finance undergrad. And just what happened is a lot of the folks that I would work with in the wealth management were high net worth individuals, but they made their money different ways. But a lot of them had about 40% of them had started in public accounting. And I never really got the idea of that till I got the understanding from a wise person that said, accounting is a language of business. And in order to become fluent in that language, you need to work at a place so you can speak it and learn what to do to keep more of your money that you make, while you're making it. So that made a lot of sense. I went back, got a master's in accountancy, went start with Deloitte, uh, and got a chance to on an audit background on the audit side. That's where I began. Then the recession happened. I got a chance to get a lot more exposure to taxes, and so that corporate tax environment and resolution side, I was able to see in the big firms. Finished my career at PwC, ended up going into consulting. In the consulting, I started seeing a lot more of that as well in advisory. So it just happenstance, right? It's like some things are just meant to be. And I got a chance to, see how I could do this and apply it to folks that maybe aren't big corporate entities, but, individuals or people that's within my circle, and that's my circle has grown since then. So, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. I gotta ask, when you were growing up in school, like grade school, middle school, even high school, what did you want to be, or what did you think you might be when you were an adult and all grown up?
Got you. A thoracic surgeon, a heart surgeon. I even when I started college, I began as a biochemistry undergrad, and I spent a lot of my time from elementary through middle and high school, primary school, and all that in the sciences. I did a lot of different science experiences. I was really like Urkel or something what people would probably venture. And so I was all about the sciences, and then it's just like life happened, dude. I ended up going into the business route, and for me, it seemed like a lot of things in business were like science because there's a lot of transactional elements in chemistry and biology, and you just kind of see that. So business kind of came easy for me. But like I said, I wanted to be a heart surgeon. I wanted to work with either Michael DeBakey or Dr. Denton Cooley, and I ended up, funny enough, still working with Dr. Denton Cooley, going the business route, and I worked with him until he passed away, and that ended up being a phenomenal experience, even though I wasn't a heart surgeon. And, but I worked with a lot of folks in that field of heart surgery. So, yeah.
That's so cool. And I'm guessing this is a really bad attempt at a joke, but you're probably saving a lot of heartache helping people out with the IRS.
That's a good way to put it. I like that pun. Yeah, dude,
Probably just
that's been
lost
happening.
like all of the few listeners we
No,
have on the
it's
podcast with
all
that
good.
joke.
The funny thing is this year we saved clients in excess of $2 million this year on the resolution side. And then the tax strategy side, probably another right at 1,000,001. So just this year, as far as like on the
Yeah,
strategy and planning side, and then that's the prospective aspect, and then the retrospective aspect of the resolution side, over $2 million we saved. So it's been a phenomenal journey. Yeah.
That's
100%.
awesome. I mean, your clients must just put you on a pedestal and view you like the authority you must be able to bring to the room after either showing them what this plan looks like or the strategy or delivering that news of, hey, we're able to save this much and put essentially this much back in your pocket.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit, like, what's that like, that relationship with your clients? Just, I guess, their reaction to you. I'd love
Yeah.
to hear
Yeah.
what's that's like from your side.
So I'll give you a couple of examples. I'll give you an example on the prospective side on the planning portion, and I'll give you a perspective on the resolution side on the resolving issue for somebody. On the prospective side, on the planning portion, there's a client that we had when we met him. When we met him, this guy had paid the IRS over $300,000, and I was like, "Wow, how did that even happen?" And then so we got a chance to look at his situation. We had to get to know him. We had to get to know whatever him and his wife's risk tolerances were and
Hmm.
what they're open to, because whatever plan we put together, we can come up with 10, 15 different things that can work, but these people might only be interested in 3 or 4. So that's cool and it's fluid in that way, but we tailor plans for folks' risk tolerance, their interests, and what they're accustomed to, whatever they can have a taste for. So when we show them, we're going to save you $500,000 this year, they were floored and they couldn't understand how this happened. A lot of it comes from lack of knowledge. A lot of it comes from lack of knowledge, or this famous saying, if you fail to plan and you plan to fail, like that too. People talk about Amazon not paying all these taxes, but Amazon made a plan like in the late 90s, early 2000s, that is they're seeing the fruits of their labor, this decade and last decade. So it took time, and they pay taxes in other ways anyway. Just they're the biggest customer of USPS, which is the postal service here in the U.S. So, uh, but it's just being able to show them where the gaps can be bridged for them, and it opens up their eyes. You can see the lights coming on. They love it, and then they're like wanting to fire whoever they're working with, or they have a really strong conversation with whoever they're working
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
Like, how did you not know this? And it's just the thing is, that's the funny thing about the tax world. I've used a lot of audit experience to go look at the Internal Revenue Code, different elements, and then I'm working with other colleagues who work in this profession on the resolution side or the prospective planning side, and we glean off of each other, right? We sharpen each other's teeth, sharpen iron sharpens iron. So that gives us a chance to see what else is happening. Even like last month or in July, really, the BBB just occurred, which really emphasized a lot of changes that's going to be taking occurrence here in the U.S. A lot of modifications have taken place, new tax laws, new things. We're researching that, we're digesting that, and we're trying to see what's relevant for our clients now. And we help each other in that regard as well. But on the fact that we have that prospective side, that's great. Now balance that against the resolution side, people that owe the IRS money. There was a lady that we worked with in another state. She had owed, unfortunately, about $1 million to the IRS and taxes and
Brutal.
taxes. And then, yeah, my God, I was looking at it myself like, wow, you really owe that money. And then, but penalties and interest, it brought it to like another $300,000. So like 1.3 million she was on to the IRS. But and at first I didn't even want to take it on, but we went ahead and took it on, did a lot of research, and we saw that the root cause, and that's part of these types of things, is identifying the root cause. We found that her business partner had actually bamboozled her and did a lot of things in her name that resulted in the resolution, that resulted in the issue being presented for resolution. And so when we were able to identify that, and we were able to like go through the IRS and it's different departments, when you're dealing with that level of money, I mean, it's all kind of legalities and things of that regard. But we were able to absolve the majority of that from her, like over two-thirds, over
That's
two-thirds.
crazy.
So she ended up, I think, owing maybe, God, I don't even think it was 300,000. It was like less than, well, it was about 300,000. And then we were able to get a lot of the penalties knocked off. So it ended up being like less than $150,000 she ended up on the IRS. So like a
Wow.
tenth of what she owed when she met us versus what she actually paid. But again, that's where the audit background comes in, because we're
Yeah.
like, hey, how did this even happen? The forensic accounting aspect, incorporating those skills that I got from the big firms into things like this and applying it, it gives us a unique perspective and a lens to help things be clear for the client. And I'm telling you, we're like she loves me now. I mean, like we've helped her so much. Her life is different. Her
Yeah,
stress is
no
different.
kidding.
You know what I'm saying? And her time, like she feels like she's got her time back. She looks younger even. I mean, because this took about a year and a half to even make happen, but she's looked like she's de-aged, if that's even possible. But just from the
Benjamin
stress being
Benjamin
gone,
Button. I mean, yeah, you
Yeah,
help someone save like 900 and some $1,000 of
yeah,
taxes. I would hope they would they would have some
yeah.
joy for you.
Oh
So
my God.
that's a huge win. I'm sure you and your team are like thrilled with that one. How, from like a business growth perspective, how do
Mhm.
you guys find clients? How do clients find you? Like, walk us
Oh man,
through how the firm's growing for client acquisition.
great question. Great question. So we work with so most of everything word of mouth. Like a lot of things is straight word of mouth with us. We haven't never really done like a commercial or anything like that. But and we don't like, oh, we go fight the IRS. That's not the situation. We liaise with the IRS and we have relationships. That we attend conferences. We do a lot of things. We're engaging with the IRS regularly on a weekly basis, honestly. So we get familiar with a lot of the terminology. We get familiar with a lot of plus we work with a lot of tax attorneys as well. Uh, so that being in that space, we're able to gauge a lot of the temperature, and it helps us be able to know what we're talking about, be educated not on whatever happened in the past, but current events and regulatory impact, and speak to it in a comfortable way, conversationally. And they can see, these people aren't messing around, because we can quote IRC code, chapter and verse and all that, but it's not who we trying to impress. Nobody. So we just want to be able to find, a lot of the things with the IRS, because of the way their budgets have been with different administrations this century. Everybody's cut it, so they make up their a lot of their budget by penalties and interest, and they've gotten really sophisticated about how they approach that. They want to see what they can collect. They don't want to just have things long-standing receivables from taxpayers, and if they can find a way to resolve something, man, they'll do it. You'll be surprised. The IRS is really accommodating, but then you do catch folks that are definitely antagonistic and all the rest, and then you definitely got an op that you got to deal with. But that's where the code and verse comes in. When you say, "Oh, we know the lingo," we're not, we can, it's a lot of things. So, but word of mouth, long story short, and then at the same time, we have, and the word of mouth obviously comes from clients that we've helped. They have, birds of a feather flock together. They tell us about their friends or their business partners. And then we've worked we have strategic alliances, strategic relationships, like some CPAs who are in different places, who maybe all they do is taxes. They wake up and thank God for taxes. So you got people who just wake up and happy about GAAP, general accepted accounting principles. But if they see that, hey, they do resolution, we can refer, and so we have strategic relationships, word of mouth, and then and also like financial planners. There's a lot of financial planners who refer for people to us as well, and that happens. I mean, like some financial planners deal with a lot of high net worth individuals, and I used to work in that space. Like I said, I mean, I
Yeah.
was interning at Merrill Lynch and whatnot before all the golden parachutes and all that era. So, I mean, I still keep in touch with people in that dynamic. So it's just, but now we're looking at actually advertising and things of that variety. We're exploring the social media aspect, maybe generating content, because there
Nice.
are a lot of people out here on social media or on different platforms that are saying things that may or may not necessarily be true, or they're good to say, but they're not the right thing to apply. It
Yeah.
just, and people are taking it, verbatim, like vitamins, like Tylenol, I guess, and sitting up here, and applying to their life, and they find themselves in situations, and they're knocking on our door. Hey, we got this issue. Can you help us? Oh, how'd this happen? Oh, I was watching this video or this, that, and the other, and it's like, oh man.
Well, I'm happy to hear you say that you're looking into other forms of advertising because um from I guess our seat as a marketing company who works with accounting firms, I gotta say the word of mouth might be a little controversial or a hot take for me, but the
Mhm.
word of mouth, relying on other people to grow the business, I
Yeah,
wouldn't say it's not necessarily a strategy. It's a great to have. And if you guys are doing
yeah.
awesome work, amazing that people send it over. But does that ever stress you out at all where you're like, I wonder if someone else is out there telling someone about us to,
Yeah,
and our
yeah, yeah.
phone's gonna ring?
You know what? That's the thing about being an entrepreneur. The roller coaster income. I listen to Jim Rohn a lot still to this day, and Miles Monroe and other people, and I hear different sayings that they have. Some of these things stick with me. Like it's not the hours you put in, it's what you put into those hours, right? And so we look at, value is always going to be out, value and quality are going to speak for themselves, but it's good to have advertisement because like when you're starting out, roller coaster income, those roller coaster months, it is difficult. It is really difficult. And so you got to find a way to diversify your way to communicate, get the word out there about yourself. And diversity is definitely a great thing to do. So that's why I'm saying like we've had a lot of success, and honestly, because we've kind of gotten over the roller coaster hump.
Over the hump, yeah.
But even though but truth be told, anybody running a practice, they're gonna have a time of pruning of clients. You're gonna have time to grow the business, and you're gonna have a time to kind of like shrink the business. Like you just saw Elon Musk this month. How many losses did Tesla have? Billions. Elon went and bought over $1 billion worth of stock back himself, right? Caused the value to go back up and erase a lot of those losses. So he's in a position to do that. Not everybody's in a position to do that
Yeah.
if you're having, losses and things of that variety, but it's just you got to see which clients are wasting my time. And that's the thing. You got to see how you value your time. Having a cognizant application and definition of time to you. That's one thing we all get. It doesn't matter, what part of the world you are and how much is in your bank account. Everybody gets the same amount of time. How you value your time, is going to determine who you're going to become and what you're going to accomplish. So, anything that can help you become efficient with time, you know, do it. I highly recommend it. Like AI, things of that variety, incorporating technology, incorporating other people that can help you. Just because you have all the knowledge, you got to be able to share it, maybe teach somebody else, mentor somebody else, and those people are going to come back for relationships. So but I definitely am getting into I've probably been a little bit shy on the social media aspect. And that's what we're breaking out of that. And probably I'm removing that roadblock because in order to get somewhere you never been, you got to do something you never done.
Yeah.
That's also one of those sayings.
Well, hey, one of those steps coming on this show, and we're gonna make sure this gets pushed out and people know more people know about you. Brandon,
Appreciate
you talked about a massive win earlier,
it.
saving
Yes.
a client, almost a
Oh
million
yes.
dollars in
Yeah.
overdue tax or a bill to the IRS. Tell me about a time that was really hard in the business. Like you talked about the roller coasters. What about one where you're really low on the roller coaster? You felt like
Okay.
the walls are closing in. You
Yeah.
pushed through, and it's been transformational for you as an individual, a business owner for the firm. Like, what stands out
Gotcha.
where you're like, man, I
Gotcha.
almost gave up.
100%. All right, great. So there was I'll give you an example. When I first started the business, had an office, had everything, had client files and all that kind of stuff. We had this big hurricane that hit Houston called Hurricane Harvey, pretty much destroyed the city. Everything was in the water. I lost my office. And I mean, they have FEMA, which is basically they help out, individuals and businesses from the government grants, whatnot. That's what they usually do. Uh, I had, had my office destroyed from FEMA, from the hurricane, and I reached out to FEMA, I reached out, to the SBA, all this other stuff, and man, the landlord was still on the rent, insurance company was still on insurance, they were filing a claim. I ended up getting denied on my FEMA claim. There were no customers coming in because I didn't have a facility and all of this.
Yeah.
And so what I ended up doing, I was really low. I mean, there was no money coming in. I was behind rent. I was behind on anything that you could ever imagine I was behind on, even where I was living. So what ended up happening, I said, you know what, I'm going to volunteer. And I got a call from the IRS, from the IRS liaison, stakeholder liaison. She had called me because she knew about me and said, hey, we're here at the FEMA DRC, which is the Disaster Relief Center. We need somebody to help people who haven't gotten their taxes filed or haven't, gotten an issue resolved with the IRS. and you're going to be doing it a pro bono, but we need it because that's the only way they can get a FEMA grant or they can get a SBA loan. And at first I was kind of taking it back because the place was pretty far from my house, but I ended up going and I volunteered. I thought it was going to be like 2 or 3 weeks, and we did a lot of tax returns. People who had and needed installment agreements, people who had IRS issues, we were helping get those resolved. And this is all pro bono. So I'm putting gas on my credit card to drive, 40
Yeah.
plus miles away one way. And I'm helping all these people. And it was really tough for me because, I wasn't, again, like I said, I wasn't getting any money. But what ended up happening, I felt like intrinsically really good about what I was doing. And there was one client that we were working on. She had owed the IRS $80,000. This was like a profit client, for-profit client, like an actual customer. We were still working with her issue, and we were able to get her issue resolved, which gave me like proof that, man, we could do this no problem. She had $80,000 balance. We got it resolved 100%. She didn't owe the IRS any more money, and that was going on at the same time we were dealing with doing all this pro bono work. But that pro bono work ended up a few months later resulted in people coming to us to get their taxes done or other services that we weren't even expecting. Because I wasn't trying to be like
Yep.
HR Block and all these other tax prep people. I wasn't trying to do that. I was just really focused on resolution. But doing that volunteerism, doing that going deeper than what your ditch, your valley is. You got to go deeper, outdo the depth inside of yourself, not just your environment, because you're going to be dealing with a lot of valleys and hills in your career. But that gave me there was like an inner strength, a second wind that came in, dude. And that tax practice for just doing tax preparation, dude, that came out of nowhere, and that's really been consistent throughout all these years. So organically grew a tax practice, but it came out of basically giving away. So basically, we had to die to ourselves and give up, let go of whatever we were trying to do so hard, but it made room for something new to come through. And that's a mentality thing. That's a spiritual thing. That's just life thing, right? Life lesson. So that's it. I mean, like again, our office got destroyed. I ended up having to move locations. A lot of stuff. I got my own FEMA claim was denied. My own SBA
Damn.
loan was denied. But I'm helping other people get theirs. And then at the same time, I'm still working for people, for a person who she trusted us. I think January of that year, and we were still working on this thing. It took a year to get the $80,000 removed, but we still had a win for her. That really felt good. That was like because it ended in December or November or something like that for her. But it was just that year, 2017 was like pretty tough. It was a pretty tough year as our first year, and but then in 2018 with the tax people, had no idea that people were going to be coming to me to get their taxes done. It's like, it's the guy I met at the FEMA DRC. It's the one who helped us out, and man, that just you got a bunch of people coming to pay you for taxes to get prep, and I said, wow, that's not something I plan on doing, but I'll be open to it. And that's the other thing, being open. Like when I started the business, dude, I was doing whatever people needed, not just resolution. I mean, that's what I wanted to do. But if again, roller coaster, to combat it, you got to be flexible, right? So if somebody needs to go to the DMV and get a title change, yeah, I'll go do that for you. I would just whatever you needed. But it's just you you got to have a focus. You can't be like a dog in a hubcap factory and getting shiny object syndrome. You got to have a focus, otherwise you lose your purpose. So yeah.
That's amazing. Congratulations on like going through that. That's and getting onto the other side and facing that adversity because that would be, yeah, I mean, that's
Oh,
really impressive.
one thing I'll say is, as your enemy will help define who you are as the hero. You got to be. There's a story being told. Are you the hero or the villain? It's your story. Who do you want to be? Anakin Skywalker became Darth Vader. He was a hero at first, became a villain. It's just, who do you want your story? What do you want to be told? Everybody gets time. You gotta. What happens in time is going to define who you are, who you become. You have goals and things, but what you do with your time matters. You gotta have
Yeah.
proper time management.
I follow Alex Hermosi a lot,
Yeah,
and
okay.
he
Gotcha.
speaks a lot about having to go through all those hard times and like going through the darkness and the depths.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
if you were to go watch a movie and just right away the person never dealt with any adversity and just life was amazing, wouldn't be much of a movie to watch. You wouldn't be cheering the person on. But
Right.
you cheer on the main character, the hero who has to go through all the dips and learns and keeps growing and then all of a sudden achieves the goals. So that's something I try to remind myself of when things get really hard. It's like, look, this is just, it's redefining and we're
That's
just going to keep
right.
moving forward.
Man, you're so right. Wow, Altramosi. I'm gonna check them out.
He's
I'm gonna
got
check
some
them.
amazing stuff. He's got some really
That's
good stuff.
powerful. I love that.
Um,
Always look for, room for growth. Always improve. I mean, so I glean from anything like that. A lot of people we learn from, they've already lived life. They're probably passed away, or they got a video or a book or something. I try to glean, and obviously you meet people in time who are on that journey with you. You're gonna find as you go through life, when you have a certain, I guess this is one way to put it. Like the more real you get, the more unreal life can get. So as you're on that journey, you
I
got
like
people who
that.
subscribe to mentality. You're gonna find other people that are maybe on that journey in an unspoken way, and y'all just gravitate to each other. You find each other in this life, in this universe and whatnot, and you're gonna find a collective effort, and maybe y'all can help each other again, sharpen iron sharpens iron, and helping each other like grow more, get off the milk, get onto the meat. And so it just as you begin to take those steps, 1,000-mile journey starts with the first step. So as
Yep.
you begin to take those steps, you're going to find other people on that journey with you, and you're going to get help when you need it, when you least expect it, I guess, when you least expect it.
And being open again to
Yes,
receiving that help. Because I think a
being
lot of
open
people
to this. Yes.
they're closed off. They don't want help. They wear it as a
Oh
like
my God.
it
Yeah.
yeah. So being open to being receptive to help. I
Being
got two more
receptive. That's a
questions
good
for you,
thing.
Brandon.
Yes, sir.
If I could wave a magic wand at your
Yep.
business and help you
Yep.
with anything going on, what would that be?
Uh, that's I guess content production, helping outreach, marketing, so marketing, and just because it help me get the message out, like people let people know that we exist, and then if you need any help or anything we can do, let us know. I mean, not just from a resolution standpoint, IRS business standpoint, but even just as a friend, mentor. I think everybody should have a mentor and everybody should have a mentee.
100%.
That's one thing I've also observed that helps people, because you get caught up in so much of whatever the humdrum or whatever you're doing, but if you don't have a vision, you're gonna lose the love of it, right? So if you have a mentor that's guiding you, keeping you humble, you're able to do the same with somebody else. And when you invest in somebody else, it gives you room to outpour whatever coming you, but you can also receive more from another source. So you can't just keep it all, inside. You gotta, if you look at it, anything that's living tries to do its best potential, except for human beings. Like a tree is gonna grow as high as it can grow. A fish is gonna swim as much as they can swim. It just a mountain is going to be as strong and bold as it can be, depending on what the mountain, what's inside that mountain. But it just, you gotta do your best. But it's a choice too. It's a choice if you want to be your best. No, you don't have to be your best, but it's highly recommended. If you have gifts and qualities, you gotta use them. You gotta use them. So otherwise, they become stale and sour.
I love it.
And
It's so insightful. So this is a great segue. Last question for you. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received? You've already listed so much, but I'm just
yeah.
curious if there's anything else that comes off the top, like the best
the,
piece of
the
advice you've
one
ever
the one that's
received.
that's most comforting is you are enough, because that's still sometimes, dude, it's kind of hard to believe, but if somebody said I am enough, like you are enough, I mean, I it sounds very common and basic, but the realization of it is the actualization, the acceptance of it. That's it's sometimes can be hard to swallow, because you're always trying to improve and do this, that, and the other. It's like, man, but you like, man, I am enough. If you have that in your mind and in concept, I think it's a freeing concept.
I
You are
love it.
enough. Yeah.
It sounds so calming. It's so simple. That's a nice reminder. Appreciate you sharing that. Brandon,
Thanks
thank
for
you
asking.
so much for coming on, sharing all of your insight. This has been amazing. Where can everyone get in touch with you if they want to continue the conversation with you? They need
Yeah,
your help with any of the services you offer, the partnerships, the joint ventures. How can people get in touch with you?
got you. So I'm on LinkedIn. My name Brandon Adjei, CPA. I'm on LinkedIn, but we have a website that we're working on right now. It's going to be Bar Graph Solutions. We call ourselves BGS, but Bar Graph Solutions. Bar is just like the sound, like it sounds like a bar graph, and then solutions plural. That kind we're working on that. That's not up right now. The current website that we have is CPA-ASAP.com. It's a HTTPS secure website. But that one is kind of like the current one. But Bar Graph Solutions is coming up. But I'm on LinkedIn, and if anybody emails info at bargraphsolutions.com, they can get us as well.
Awesome. We'll make sure that's in the show notes so people can get in touch with you. Brandon, I can't thank you enough. It was long overdue, but I'm so glad we did it. Thanks again.
Worth the wait, man. It was worth the wait to talk with you, man. Definitely appreciate you. Felt great with this, and just great questions, and just thank you for letting us come on your platform.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of CFO Chronicles, the secrets behind success. I hope you found value in today's conversation. As we wrap up, I'd love for you to do two things. First, make sure to subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. If you enjoyed today's discussion, please rate and review the show. It helps others discover the insights we share here. Second, if you're ready to take your business to the next level and attract the high-end clients you deserve, head over to accountingleadsnow.com or click the link in the show notes to book your strategy call. It's time to position yourself as the advisor your clients need. And don't forget, you can connect with me on LinkedIn to stay up to date on what's happening in the world of accounting and financial growth. We've got exciting topics coming up, so stay tuned for the next episode of CFO Chronicles. Until then, keep pushing forward. Your growth is just one strategic move away.
Thanks for listening to CFO Chronicles, the secrets behind success. We hope today's episode provided valuable strategies to help you attract more high-paying clients. Be sure to subscribe, follow, and share with fellow professionals. Connect with us on LinkedIn and leave a review or comment to join the conversation. Your feedback helps us bring you the best insights in finance and marketing. Until next time, keep striving for success and unlocking your business's potential.